So, how'd you get started in volleyball?
Whew, man, that's a long story.
Yeah, that's what we want to hear.
Well, I grew up as a gym rat. My dad, obviously being a college basketball coach, I grew up in just that's all I knew was sports, and he played. We did everything. I played every sport growing up. I played, obviously basketball was kind of what I was bred to play, but I played basketball competitively, played tennis a lot. I did basically everything as a kid growing up, and kind of tennis and basketball ended up being my main sports coming up, and then I picked up volleyball kind of late in high school actually. Like I didn't really play seriously until like almost my senior year, but I picked up on it really quickly. Loved it. It was just something that I played it on the beach and then played it indoor, and started traveling. I just started driving all over the place to play volleyball. Wherever I could go to play, I was going to play. Playing in beach tournaments, indoor tournaments, and got a chance to go up. One of my good friends that was kind of also, we both kind of got into it together, Scott Reynolds, was like, we were looking and we were looking, and we went to the 91 Olympic Festival tryouts in Chicago. It was a cool trip, got to see the Cubs play, but we got to go up there and try out, and I was able to make it as an alternate on that team. And that got me some looks, to play in college. I got to visit a bunch of places, got recruited, ended up going out to Long Beach State to play for a little while, and went out there, did that, came back and really pursued playing beach volleyball. Was kind of where my real passion was. I enjoyed indoor volleyball. Men's volleyball is so fun. It's fast. It's super high hitting percentages. It's different than women's volleyball. Most people think it's kind of boring because there's so much offense. There's not as much defense. But that's what I like about it, is the offense. That's what I try to get our women's teams to be able to hit the numbers that the men's teams are hitting. But it usually doesn't happen. But anyway, I got into volleyball and just came back, started playing beach, started playing. I was playing open level tournaments, started traveling, playing beach volleyball, 2-on-2, did some 4-on-4 tournaments, traveled and really just, played. That's all I did, is travel and try and make money. One of the cool things about beach volleyball is it's not like your salary sports like there are now. Like you had to go win. If you wanted to make money, you had to win. And that was something that really drew me to it, is you had to go and show up and play every weekend if you were going to make money and try and make a living at it. And I was able to make some money. Won quite a few tournaments in my career. It was fun. I got a call. Actually, I had a story where I was playing and practicing, and I ended up breaking my hand. I went into a guy's hand, into his shoulder. I was passing, went out. We didn't communicate. I preach communication all the time. It really stinks. But I reached out and jammed my finger into his head, broke my hand, and was kind of just out for the rest of that beach season. And a coaching friend of mine, one of my mentors, Paul Cantrell, who had started the program at Valdosta State, called me up and was like, "Hey, why don't you come get your master's and coach?" And the rest is history. That was 1998. I've been coaching ever since.
So what about coaching made you want to stick with it once you got that first taste?
Well, yeah. I didn't know that I did want to be a coach. It was just kind of I had done some coaching, but most of it was just playing. But growing up as a coach's kid, you kind of learn, how to coach games. Because he taught me to play everything. He was he taught me to play tennis. He taught me to play basketball. He taught me fundamentals for volleyball. He taught me a lot of things, and it was that just kind of led into it. I got into coaching. I got to coach with a coach that is a really, he was a great X's and O's coach. He knew the game as well as anybody I've coached with, and that really helped me. Because I was able to take my background and playing experience and apply what I was learning from him and put it into just, it kind of just clicked. It was something that I enjoyed doing. I didn't know that I would enjoy it. I didn't know. I thought coaching women, man, that's terrifying. I don't know if I could ever do this. And I did, and I liked it, and, just kind of, I don't know. It was in my blood. I didn't really, was just a natural progression, I guess. I was able to just jump right in and, enjoy it. And then I coached after that, and I've been coaching ever since. And I was just telling somebody this year, it's like, this is the first fall since 1997 that I'm not coaching a volleyball team in their season. It's strange. Like, I'm bored out of my mind on the weekends. I'm able to watch football. Like, I can't believe it. It's unbelievable.
Did you miss beach volleyball? Because that seems to be
Yeah. Oh, definitely. And I still play some beach. I don't play competitive tournaments anymore. Although, I need to get back into it. I'd like to. Just the knees tell you that you're almost 50 and that you shouldn't go doing that to yourself. But I definitely, my kids both play volleyball, so I want to be able to play some tournaments with them. They play some outdoor volleyball, but beach is. I mean, that's where the game is. It's a purest game. It's 2-on-2. There's no specialty position in the beach. You've got to be able to do everything well. That's one of the nice things about beach volleyball is you can't just be a middle hitter or a setter. You've got to be able to do everything well, and you've got to play in the sand, and you've got to play in the wind and the sun, and it's a totally different game. But the fundamentals are the same. But yeah, I mean, I do miss it. I wish the teams that I've had, I've really tried to encourage them to play beach volleyball because it makes them more multidimensional players if they do it. My teams at SCAD, I would drag them out to Tybee Island and say, all right, we're practicing, our spring practice is in the sand this week. And we would go, and some of them were just only indoor players. They had never played beach before. And I drug them out there, and a few of them liked it. And actually, I made them, one of our spring play dates was playing in a beach volleyball tournament on Hilton Head. And, I took them to it. A lot of them just kind of were, they were leery about it because they were just like, we're just not good. We're terrible in the sand because it's totally different. And some of them liked it, and started playing it. And then they came back the next year, and quite a few of those players, they developed and became just players that could do anything. I mean, I had players that could play middle, that could play outside, and some of those girls, they won 4 conference championships and 4 region championships in a row. We got to go to the national tournament 4 years in a row after I got that group of girls playing beach volleyball, and I continued to do that every year. It was just something I was like, this is what we're going to do. And I've done that here some too. We go play on the sand courts here sometimes in the spring. This year, though, spring is hopefully going to be our season. So, we may do a little bit this fall. I've been trying to just get them all together indoor right now, but we haven't done any sand yet this year. But we need to, now that you bring it up.
So, 1997, you went Valdosta? Right?
Yep. Started coaching there in 98.
What was the journey? How did you end up at USC Aiken?
Well, I coached there for 2 years, got my master's, was offered a position at Athens Academy, which is a private school up in Athens, immediately after graduation, and allowed me to coach and teach at a really nice, super, amazing private school. And I thought I wanted to stay at the college level, but that job was a pretty good job. It was good at the time, and it worked out great. And I got 2 years of experience coaching at the high school level, which was good because you can't recruit at the high school level. You've got to really develop talent, develop fundamentals in people. You find athletes and try and teach them to play. And we were able to do that. We finished 3rd in the state and 2nd in the state my 2 years there. And then my year after I left, that group of girls got to win the state championship. But after that, after 2 years in Athens, I had got a job offer at SCAD, Savannah College of Art and Design in Savannah. Judd Damon, who's the athletic director at Flagler now, gave me an opportunity that I just couldn't pass up, and went down there and built that program into an NAIA powerhouse. I mean, it was tough. It taught me to recruit. Recruiting art and design students is not the easiest thing in the world to do, because you had to get to know club directors, you had to get to meet people, you had to say, hey, who are your kids that are your interior design majors or animation majors, and you had to find those kids and bring them in. And teaching a fashion design major volleyball is different than teaching an exercise science student. There's a big difference between visual learners, and it was good. It helped develop me as a coach and a recruiter, And we had some phenomenal teams. I mean, it was we had a really good run there, and then they started talking about cutting programs and did cutting programs, and now they don't have volleyball anymore, and that's part of the reason. And when this job opened up, it worked out great. I was able to come up here in 2008, and have been here ever since.
So what made you stick around? Because I mean, you jumped around a little bit before you got here. What has made you stay here for so long?
The people. It's been, having the Convocation Center is really one of the top arenas for an athlete to play in the country, if even D1 or D2. This is a phenomenal recruiting tool to be able to bring kids in here and have them play here. The school is academically a phenomenal school. It's a pretty easy school to recruit to. And that's part of it too. It's a lot easier to recruit here than it was to an art school. There's a bigger pool of athletes that you can look at. But I mean, I enjoy the area. I enjoy Aiken. My kids are here too. My ex-wife is in Greenwood, and my kids go to school there. So, it's worked out great for me just to be able to have a place that, that feels like home. I mean, it really does. I mean, it's part of the reason. I mean, I've had some people talk to me about some really good jobs in the past that I should have taken, maybe not should have taken, but I was in a position where I wanted to stay close to my kids. I was happy, and I've built the program up to where people know what USC Aiken volleyball is. I mean, they know that that's a team that's going to make the national tournament. They know it's a team that's won the conference for the last 5 years, and that's kind of where we've built it. And it took a while to build it. I came in and it was a mess. I mean, it was a big mess. Like, I had to come in and we had to really do a lot of things to build the type of culture that we have now. I had to be a different coach then than I am now. It's worked out. I enjoyed the culture we have, enjoyed the people. It's a great place to work. It's a great place to recruit to. And that's why I've stuck here so long, I suppose.
So how does it feel to finally kind of be producing teams that really have good results? How does it feel to finally reach that?
Oh, it's great, but it's part of the staircase. We're only about, what I would consider, halfway up. I feel like if we can continue building, we can do more than Sweet 16s and Elite 8s if we can bring in the right athletes and keep getting better. Honestly, it's just right now it's to keep people from getting hurt. We've had a rough go last year, and so far this year, the COVID year has been kind of rough on us as far as a couple of injuries to some key people and some different things, and it's been tough. But we'll hopefully. And the toughest thing about this year is there's no NCAA tournament this year for us. And that's, it's kind of a wash of a year, but we're really young. I mean, the way I look at my team now is we're super, super young. I've got a huge freshman class. They're extremely talented. All of our seniors, that have helped build this program to where it is are all going to come back for another semester. So they'll be back. So this team, has got a shot at being really, really, really good. They've got an opportunity, and they don't lose anybody. Once we get a few people back on the court, we'll be even that much stronger. But it's just, it's a process. The level of technical proficiency and consistency that we're gonna have to reach the next level. I like that I've got a year to do that. That's the only real positive about this year, is I've got a year to help develop and work with some kids and help get them better and better, so that we can make a real run at it when we can have a regular season again. So, but it's, we're not there yet. And that's part of it too. You can't get complacent with where you are. I mean, we're good. Everybody knows we're a good team. But it's, we've got to keep trying to get better, So I tell the kids that there's different types of athletes and programs that we play, and there's contenders, there's pretenders, and then there's closers. And right now we're contenders. We're not closers yet. We're not that team that just totally dominates and he doesn't have to worry about getting challenged until you get the Final Four. That's where I want to be. And that's just going to take some work, and that's what we're going to continue to do.
What is it like to be able to bring those type of kids in here and then develop the kids like a national leader from freshman year to a two-time player of the year after not making all conference or second year?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what is it like to be able to work with those kids and a 16-year-old Christine Carroll when she came on campus, or 17-year-old to a two-time All-American?
Yeah, well, I mean, I've always felt like I could identify potential and talent, and but it's also finding the right kids too, the kids that are going to have that work ethic, the kids that want to work and get better, and like Ashley D. I mean, when we recruited Ashley, she was just a great athlete that could jump out of the gym and could just crush the ball, but she didn't know where she was hitting it most of the time. And we developed court vision with her and offense, worked on her arm swing and got her developed into a player that just became, she became Region Player of the Year her last 2 years. But a lot of her work, though, came from, it was internal. I hope that I had something to do with her getting there from a technical standpoint, but her during the off season and going, and like Ashley went home, I guess it was probably maybe it was her sophomore year, that I think I walked in and showed you the video that time whenever she jumped in and she sent a video of her jumping up and grabbing a basketball goal, and I was like, well, that's going to help, but that's something she did over the summer, that she had decided she was going to get her vertical up to that point, and that's all those kids that have been All-American and All-Conference have put in a little extra work besides what we require them to do. And that's what separates All-Americans from the just All-Conference kids.
So it was 2016 when you won your team's first ever set in the NCAA tournament, or the program's first ever set, and you got Italy that year. The following year, 21-game winning streak, which is the best in school history for any sport, and then a 16-0 start. You come back, and which is the best start in school history for any sport. What's that mean for you to, have those type of things, attributed to you and your program and the kids that have been doing that?
Oh, man, it's awesome. You got to give credit to the players that are out there putting up those numbers, coming out with a mental consistency to do that. And that's something we really try and teach is mental toughness, but some kids get it, some kids don't. And that's a big part of it, is finding the right kids to do it. But also, having, a great group of coaches, like having Ali Safera, having Chip Herring and Jim, they're huge as far as helping keep that chemistry and helping us figure out, how to keep the team focused enough to be able to have that kind of consistency. And that's, and those years were, golly, those streaks were tough. Because we played some really tough teams, and we had some, we played some fully funded programs that, that we'd never beaten before in some of those streaks. So, for the girls to come out and, a lot of it's confidence. I think this group, they're confident in their abilities too. They know what they can do. And I think they know that we believe in them, and they know that how good they can be, and that's half the battle, is the mental side of it. There are a lot of great volleyball teams, but there are not a lot of great volleyball teams that have the mental focus and consistency to be able to do what some of those teams have done, and that's fun to have around.
Where do you see your team moving forward?
Well, this team now, hopefully this year we get to have a conference championship at least. That's what we're, fingers crossed, that we're going to get to be able to do. So I'd like them to be able to, make a run at that this year, in the spring, whenever we figure out when we're going to play and all that good stuff. But this team's got a chance to, to be a regional contender. They can come out and do it. Having a year to prepare for a national tournament is, it's nice, but I have to look at it. Everybody else has got a year too, and everybody else has got that year back. Obviously, some of those teams will graduate people that won't come back, and that's one bonus that we have, is we do have everybody back. But I see this team, pushing on through and hopefully getting beyond the Elite Eight. I mean, that was a big goal to be able to do that before, but we haven't been back. So, I'm ready to go back.
So, what's your hope, not for just for USC Aiken volleyball, but for yourself for the future? Like, what's next for Glenn Cox?
I want to win a national championship. That's why I do this. And I feel like we've built a good culture. Our kids come in, they have a great experience. One of my goals as a coach is when these kids come in and play for 4 years, I want them to love the game more when they leave than they did when they got here. And most of them do continue playing. They keep playing. They play outdoor. They play on indoor national teams. I've got a group of my SCAD kids that they go to the USAV Nationals and put together a team. Trainwreck's their name. Yeah, I'll give them some props if they happen to watch this. But it's fun to see a group of former athletes that are now well into their 30s, and they're going out and competing, and that's fun to see too. But for me, from a coaching standpoint, like I want the real ring. Conference championship rings are just kind of boring and they're expensive. I'm tired of buying them. I want the real ring. I want somebody to buy us a ring, a national championship ring, and that's kind of what we're trying to do. And it's tough. Only one team gets to do it every year. So, but that's kind of the goal. That's where I want this team to get to, and I feel like we're the progression is there. We're getting there. It might not be as fast as I want it to be, but we're getting there. So,
give me your favorite moment since you've been here.
Oh, geez. I don't know. That's tough. There've been so many. From a coaching standpoint, obviously winning that regional, coming from behind and watching Christine Carroll put that ball away in the 5th set was one of the loudest moments I've ever heard in that Convocation Center, and it was pretty awesome. That's from just a winning standpoint, but there's so many other cool things that we've done, and with the team, and just silly, goofy humor and fun, and trips that we've taken, and going up and getting cabins in the mountains last year and doing stuff like that. Those are all. There's so many things. It's hard to say what my favorite is. From a coaching and winning standpoint, that regional was the one.
Can you explain why in South Dakota, -30-degree wind chill, they get a Dairy Queen for blizzards?
That was a tough call, but it was, Dr. Deb wanted to go, and, so it was, but the kids, they're never going to turn down ice cream. Can't blame them.